Untitled Podcast is a part of the Kansas Google Education Group Network and also the Mace Kansas Network. You can find more information about episodes and guests at www.untitledpc.net. Welcome to Untitled Podcast. My name is Travis True.
And I'm Carol Nelson.
All right, everyone, welcome to this episode of the podcast. This week we don't have a guest that we're chatting with. You get Travis and Carol, and we're going to geek out a little bit on some updates that you may not know about with in Google and YouTube. First of all, we're going to start with some YouTube hacks that I've learned this last week. The first one is when you're in YouTube and you watch a video, you have the suggested videos on the side, maybe some ads, and you got comments at the bottom. There's a lot of distracting things around the video, and you got ads that start at the beginning of the video, and then the suggested videos at the end. Well, this hack will strip all of that out and only give you the video, so you can send that link to your students however you do that in classroom or however you're going to share that. So what you do is you go to your video, and in the URL, which is the web address for the video, you put your cursor, you click and put your cursor between the T and the U in YouTube, and you put a hyphen in there. So you'll have YOUT-UBE.com and then the rest of the address for the video. And when you do that, you hit enter on your keyboard, everything gets stripped. All the ads don't play at the beginning, the stuff on the side, the comments is gone. All you're left with is a video that fills up the entire window, and then you can share that. You just copy the web address at the top and put that in Google Classroom for your students. So it's a real nice hack to get all of that other stuff out of the way, so students can focus on just their video. So I want to make sure we share that with you, because that's I know a lot of people ask all the time, how can we remove ads? How can we remove suggested videos, because they're not necessarily appropriate for school? And so that would be the way to do it. Go to the video in the address bar, put a hyphen in between the T and the U in YouTube, hit enter. You'll get a new link to that video that'll be basically full screen.
It's a great hack, and then they don't have to use another program to do that, because that's typically what we've had to do, is send them to another program, which is okay too.
And then like we block those because of security reasons. And so it's really hard. You may find one that works for a while, then it gets blocked by the district filter. So this one, so far, it's worked for us. So
I feel like we need to knock on wood, Travis.
Yeah, I know. All right, and the next one, the other one I want to show is, it's kind of a multitasking hack. It's really a neat little hack. So if you have your video, and it's a little bit more difficult without a mouse, because you have to right click, do a double right click instead of a double left click. So this can be done on a Chromebook. And to right click on a Chromebook, you put two fingers on the mouse pad and press, or you can hold down the Alt key on the keyboard and then click. That may be the best solution, but you have to double click using the right mouse feature, the right mouse button on a mouse or on an iPad. Anyway, so you have the video open on YouTube and double click with your right mouse button, and you will get a second menu that pops up. And the option in there is for picture in picture. So what this does is it pops the video out into a smaller floating window, and you can move it around anywhere on your screen. There's a button, there's a play and a pause button at the bottom, and then there's a button that will send the video back to the original spot on the YouTube page. But the cool thing about this is once you have it floating, you can go from tab to tab, and that video will stay in that same spot and just float over the tab. So you can go from page to page, tab to tab, scroll up and scroll down, and that video stays right there. So you could have a student could do this and put their math lesson video on in picture in picture, and then go to Google Docs or drawings or slides and do the work as they watch the video, so they don't have to switch back and forth or just listen to it while they're doing some work. So it's some great multitasking for students. But they have to be able to do a right click, double tap, right click. And so it could be a little bit of an issue. Like I said, hold down Alt and press on the mouse key. That will also do that too. So just a nice little multitasking hack. I think students would benefit a lot from that. And just a reminder for everybody, we're trying to explain how these things work without doing a screen share for those of you that are listening. But everything, we've got videos to everything and links in our show notes, so you can take a look at those tutorials that we've either found or created that show these things.
For all our visual learners out there, we gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm going to add on another YouTube idea. This was one that I learned from Tony Vincent when I was taking, I think it was his Classy Videos series. And I didn't realize that as you upload videos into YouTube, how much control you have over just everything with it. I mean, a lot of times we just kind of stop at giving it a title and a description and saying whether it's, unlisted, private, that type of things. But there is the option even to go further in the editing, and you can actually click that you don't want that video embed to be embeddable in a different site. You can also turn off the like/dislike feature, which depending on what you want to use that video for, that might be if you don't want your class to rank your video of, hey, we like this, we don't like it, you can turn that on. And I thought that was a great, it was an aha moment for me that you can just do a little bit more. You can take a little bit more control over how people are interacting with your videos that are out there. So, and
if your district has restricted videos turned on and you upload videos, you can actually, if you select the option when you're uploading the video that it is made for kids, it will disable the comment feature. So if you want commenting turned on, say maybe it's a public meeting or it's an event and you want comments turned on, you would have to select that no, it's not made for kids, and then the comment box gets activated.
Perfect.
Carol, you have some.
Are we moving to Chrome?
Yeah, let's give some Chrome updates.
We've given him some great YouTube things, so let's move to Chrome. One new feature that I wanted to talk about was the Chrome tab groups. And I could see a lot of potential with this. And I'll be honest, I need to have time to play with this, and I haven't had time to play yet. But I love that you can create tab groups now. And I can see a lot of potential for, those of us that have multiple tabs that we don't want to lose, that we use time and time again. There now is the feature that you can right click on a tab and it'll give you an option to add that tab to a new group. And then you can name that new group. It could be work. It could be the name of the project that you're working on. You can even, I believe, make it a certain color and all those fun things that you can do to really kind of personalize that tab group. But then it enables you to quickly access that group of tabs. And so I see a lot of potential for that, for organizing, for cutting down the number of tabs you constantly have open, lots of potential with that new feature.
Yeah, that's really nice, especially with the number of tabs I have open at any given time and trying to find which tabs go with which project.
Yeah. And I get lost in my bookmarks too. So yeah. I thought about, shifting some of my bookmarks that I have a lot of into more of tab groups instead, especially.
Now, I haven't played around with tabs much. Can you save those, or once you close Chrome, are they gone?
Ooh, that's a great question. And I don't know that I know the answer to it.
If anybody's listening and they know the answer, let us know. I haven't had a chance to really play around and use it a lot, but that's my one question. The other thing, so Chrome 89, version 89 came out, maybe a week and a half, couple weeks ago. And there were a couple of pretty big updates with Chrome 89 on the desktop and on the Chromebook. On the desktop version of Chrome, you can now turn on live captioning for Chrome, and it only works on desktops right now. Google says they're working on it, and hopefully it'll be available in Chrome OS soon. But what this will do is it's an accessibility setting in your Google Chrome browser. And it's only, like I said, it's only available on the desktops, but it's on PCs and Macs. And it puts a live caption window at the bottom. So if you go to any page that has video or audio, like a podcast, like Untitled Podcast, you're listening to it, you could have the live captioning, the translation at the bottom. And right now, because it's so new, right now, English is the only language it's available in, but Google says that they're working on having other languages available. To turn it on, you would, in your Chrome browser, you go up to the three dots next to your profile picture, go down to settings, and then on the left-hand side, or you could scroll all the way down in your settings, you click on advanced, and you go to the accessibility section, and it's the very first option, accessibility. It says live caption. You turn that on, and it will download the language package. So it'll download the English package. It just takes a minute or two to do that. And then once it's done, to test it out, go to a page that has video. YouTube is an obvious one, but it doesn't have to be YouTube. It can be TED Talks. It could be your radio station you listen to, a podcast, this podcast, whatever that has video or audio that plays, and you will see the little window pop up at the bottom. You can't save any of that caption. It's just kind of live. It's kind of reminds me of the live caption tool in Google Slides. How you turn that on, it's just across the bottom, and then it just goes, it just goes away once it's out of the window. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But this is actually built into Chrome, available on desktops and PCs and Macs, desktop version only, but it has to be version 89. Okay. So it's a great accessibility tool. So you can see those live captions. The other update that a lot of people were waiting for with version 89 is now Chrome OS on a Chromebook has a built-in screenshot tool and a screen recording tool. And this is, And this has been something that's been asked for a long time. I know you could always take a screenshot you had to hold down shift control and then the window, the middle button on the top row, I think the window chooser button, I think is what that was. You could always take a screenshot, but this built-in screenshot and screen recorder lets you take an area screenshot, so you can select on the screen just a certain area. You can take a full screen screenshot. You can do the same with a screen recording. You can take an area recording or a full screen recording. And it's once you stop, it automatically will save to either to your drive or to your Chromebook, and then kids can turn it in through Classroom. So it's a nice, easier tool to use to take a picture of some homework or to grab pictures or something else. But to get to that, you would click down the system or the tray on the shelf. In the lower right corner, you'd click on the clock where the time is, and that menu pops up. And it's right in that middle section where like the Wi-Fi and some of the other settings are. You'll see a screen recorder button you can click on it. A menu will pop up in the middle that you get the choice to do a screenshot or a screen recording. Do you want to do an area recording or a full screen recording? And then you just go ahead and choose that and start it. You do have to turn the microphone on. There's a settings icon. Make sure the microphone's turned on for the recording. But I tried. Somebody asked me if there was a limit on how long the recording could be. I set up and just did a screen recording and used my Chromebook for about an hour. So it recorded everything I did for an hour, and then I stopped it. I never got a warning. I never got anything else. And when I looked back at the recording, there was about an hour's worth of recording on there. So
that's huge.
Yeah, it is. And then that video can be uploaded. Now it doesn't have all the bells and whistles like a Screencastify. It has the annotation tools, and you can do some trimming at the beginning and end and automatically upload it to YouTube. It doesn't have any of that. It's just a plain screenshot or screen recording tool, but it is a great, easy tool to use for kids.
I think that easy tool is huge. We're constantly looking for that screen recording, and especially one that sounds almost limitless. Probably isn't limitless, but sometimes we're limited to 5 minutes or so. And so an hour seems limitless.
I know.
And by the way, while you're talking and I was listening, I did test out closing out my entire tabs, and my tab group came back when I reopened. So there we go.
Good to know.
Yeah. Kind of, again, a fun feature. So I think, we have two more, I guess, two more tips. So recent update with Classroom. This is another one that I think people have been asking for for some time, is the capability to have that rich text formatting within it, which means you can underline, you can bold, you can italics your fonts. And so that is a new feature that got rolled out pretty recently. So be sure to check that one out. That's been, like I said, something that has been requested. And I think people have found hacks around it, but now it's actually in there and usable. So great update. And I just love how Google does listen to those requests, and you can make those requests of them. So give them feedback, and they are listening.
How do people do that?
Yeah, I was trying to remember myself. Is there a there's a question mark or something, isn't there?
Wherever you see a question mark in the bottom right or bottom left hand,
that's what I was
one
thinking.
of those two corners, wherever there's a question mark, you click on that, and you'll have the option to go to like the help section, and then there's a leave feedback option. and there's a short form you fill out. You can even take a screenshot of what you are asking for. So you can say, hey, in this section right here, it sure be nice to do this. And then that gets sent to Google. There are, I don't know how many people they have. I met one of those people at ISTE one year that does go through and basically categorizes the suggestions from teachers. And she said the more suggestions they get, it goes up the list, and the developers, they just have that long to-do list, and so the more something is suggested, a fix is suggested, or an add-on is suggested, the higher up in the list they go. But that, yeah, they listen. She says we definitely listen to the teachers because we don't know what else to fix if we don't get feedback.
Yeah. And you might not get feedback personally, but you're going to get the feedback in product updates that are coming out. And we'll put a link for that too, how people can see the updates that are coming out. Google constantly is giving updates and a list of updates that have come out that you can explore. Eric Kurtz does a great job of having a video of kind of the month of updates. So we'll link both of those in the show notes as well. In the show notes, I've put in a link so that you can know if the workspace status. So if it's down, this week especially, we were hit with some Google issues, and it's hard to know sometimes if it's something in your district that's going on. Is it with Google? And so I know as I was exploring some of the different groups that I'm in on Facebook, I would see, are you guys having trouble? Are you guys having trouble? There's a lot of that going on. And it's like, well, there is a place that we actually can go online to find that out. And so I've linked that in our show notes. You can go, and it gives you status dashboard of all the different Google Workspace areas. So you can see if Gmail's having an issue, it's going to show that right there. So you can have that feedback from a reliable source. You can go right to the source and see if they're having issues or not. So we went ahead and linked that so you can see how to check that for yourself.
Yeah, so that's a really good resource. Also, a lot of people don't know that a lot of the online resources, not just Google, but a lot of online classroom resources that are used have a similar dashboard, so people can make sure what's working, what doesn't. So like we use Zoom in our in Topeka, and so they have a dashboard that shows what's up and what's down, and there's a couple of other tools, resources instructional resources that we use that's has the same dashboard. And so you might ask usually you can find those on the website, or if you've got somebody in IT may be able to find that for you, so you can, or just let your folks in IT know that maybe they need to look for it because they may not know that it's out there. But a lot of these online resources do have a similar dashboard. Mm-hmm. All right, well, that is all we have for you for today. Like I said, there was a lot of updates and stuff that came out this last in the last month or so. So we're gonna try to hopefully make this a regular thing and bring you some updates and other hacks every so often. So remember, everything that we mentioned, we'll have links in the show notes too. From where we either found it or we made a video tutorial on it. And then if you got questions or comments about anything, you can find me on Twitter at Travis True. Carol, where can they find you?
Yep, I'm at Mrs. Carol Nelson.
All right. And then, so if you got questions or comments about the episode or anything else, anything Google, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. And we'll see everybody next time. Bye.
Bye.